it. It's just for you. Have it.
The other day, I came up here a couple of weeks ago to get a head start on the installation that I built up the hill, and working by myself up here, had a lot of time to kind of think about what it was that I was doing, and I couldn't really identify like my motivation. I couldn't identify, there's not really a ends to the means that I'm trying to get at, and in one way it kind of makes me feel a little bit shallow. Somehow, I don't know, like I think it's nice if you have a sense of where you're going with things, and if you're spending so much of your time doing it, but at the same time it's a very pure feeling. I don't have an explanation a lot of times for what I'm doing. I have a methodology, which is I go out and I walk, or I ride, or I drive. I get myself way off the grid and well beyond my audience's capacity to get to places, whether it be in the Sierra Nevadas or worked in Sweden and in France, deep in the hillsides in France. I get myself to these places, scout around, and find a place to work, and just kind of generate ideas based on what I see, and they kind of just come. I'm not trying to force anything. Like the sculpture that I made here, for example, I spent a full day, I guess 3 days, riding all throughout the Los Padres National Forest, and did a lot of mileage and covered a lot of ground, like including well east of here towards Fraser Valley or Fraser Mountain, and saw a lot of places. And I finally found this little spot here, and what inspired me was like, this has been a kind of a war-torn environment. The fire that came through here has pretty much destroyed what could have been a happy hollow. It's pretty burnt out, but what it's left is all these like branches that are like gnarled and curled, and I came away with that, like wanting to do something with these gnarled branches that were all over the place, fallen trees that had these gnarled branches. And when I got back to my studio, I did some sketches and kind of generated a plan, and the plan was to do what I did, which was basically just take these gnarled pieces of timber and kind of wood butcher them into a circular shape that's, with the joints that join them together. And it's great. The piece that I realized was very much like the piece that I sketched out, when I was back in Santa Monica in my studio. And I've been fortunate, like, to be able to have like a pretty solid vision of what I want to do with all of the installations that I've done. And some of them have required a lot of like, after the idea has been conceived, a lot of planning and a lot of like a lot of bits and pieces have to fall together, but they end up like that initial conception is still very much alive in the final piece. And I think this is really a good example of that. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. It's a good piece.